when my boss is the majority of this board, and I get your point about being a citizen, but is that really what's going on? Because who do I report, who does the sheriff report that back to? This board? I mean, it should be a concern of this board as my supervisor. If there is fraud within the department.
If he doesn't, as a concerned citizen, and the sheriff has to report to anybody, it'd be the attorney. To tell him whether he did or not.
And as
That's my concern. Would that be?
And legally, if that's the way we're gonna do it, that's fine. I'll just let you know that, talk to Goodland about hiring an EMS director. You know, the two surrounding counties within the last 3 months have had EMS directors resign. And, you know, if this keeps happening by one citizen that is on the board of commission of this county, that's what you're looking at.
Well, if he's working as himself and not as the board,
Well, and I think the
there's
distinction
nothing
is,
the rest of us can do about
if
it.
there is a report of a crime, then it's up to the sheriff to screen that to determine whether or not, because I mean, there are times sheriff receives many calls that doesn't even meet the bare requirement to go out and do an investigation. And so the sheriff would determine whether or not that's a crime. He would investigate, and if it's a crime, then that gets reported to me to review for criminal charges. If he investigates and determines no crime has occurred, that's the end of the analysis. If an investigation is requested more based on a concern of whether or not there's been some sort of violation of HR policies or county policies, that would be more driven within the county.
And is
I
that what this
completely,
request is?
I completely understand your frustration right now, and I don't even know exactly what the underlying basis of any of that is, because generally if there is a report of a crime, I'm only gonna be pulled in once the investigative process actually starts to review for possible criminal charges. So I understand your frustration, but I guess I mean,
And that's why I brought it up. I
process.
need to understand it also,
Mhm.
and then I have to make decisions based on it. Because no other department's getting this scrutinized, and the members of the public know that also.
well, we've looked at this several different times, and every time.
And this is the third time.
Every time everything's T's are crossed and I's are dotted. I mean, I don't know what Commissioner Radcliffe is, as a concerned citizen, I don't know what's going on. And Ed and I had no idea.
Well, is that private or is that public information?
If it's a concerned citizen, it's public, I would assume.
An investigation has started, am I correct? And that, no more comment from me.
And how do you know when you're acting as a commissioner and when you're acting as a concerned citizen? Do you have hours to differentiate this, or do you have? To me, once you signed up to be a commissioner, weren't you always wearing your commissioner hat? I mean, you're on call and all that, aren't
Take
you?
calls all the time.
I'll let you know.
24/7.
I mean, so how can we turn that off? Just some of my concerns. I'm gonna let it drop at that. I will comply with the investigation, but I'll tell you what. You're only shooting yourself in the foot. Thank you for your time. Do you have any other concerns or questions for me?
No. NWLBG.
I'm Tim.
Tim, I'm Brett.
Nicole Romine.
Yes, thank you.
I've seen this on that guy around before.
His one is on disc. Okay. Good.
Well, we're the ones that regulate your sewer and your water wells and stuff, and so we're getting caught up, and I'm trying to get out to all the counties and give you a list of kind of what we've been doing. in this county, we happen to have some violations on the books, but we're kind of waiting to get fixed. There's 3 of them. This one, for Mr. Johnson was,
Does this need to be enclosed?
I don't
Is
think
it
so.
public? Okay, sorry.
Beyond, I think, probably more of this is us working together
Yes.
rather
Okay.
than
Okay.
any of, so I think if they just talk
Okay.
generally, and then I
I
think we
would
need
like
to
to-
build a good relationship, so.
Okay, thank you.
so anyway, the one here that we have, he's fenced his school off. So
Okay.
we have given him till August 31st, apply for some cost share. And we're giving him an extension to get that done.
Okay.
It appears that it's fenced off when we went by.
Good.
So, yeah, there's one east of town, and, very, very cooperative. He's got his, so he just set, fenced off, the well is plugged, and then he'll.
Cesspool is covered in
Yeah,
fence.
and then we'll
It's not
have,
filled in.
we'll have application, we're giving him also till the end of the end of July, I believe is once cost share comes into, cost sharing.
Okay.
And you guys, we try to send these
Yep.
to y'all, okay? And then this one's just over the line, south here, is an abandoned well. Tim spoke to him this week, and he'd like a couple weeks extension, and we were good with that.
Okay.
So we just want to give you guys a little bit of an update on some of the violations that's going on. Nothing, that one was probably our biggest one.
Yes, I'm glad to see
Yes,
that
yes.
has finally.
That is very good. I mean, that keeps
Yes.
our groundwaters safe
Well,
by
actually,
what
there
you
was
do.
a lady that stepped out of the vehicle and went down to her waist.
Yeah, the county attorney made us, aware of that.
That was nasty. Yeah, I know, right?
That would have
But
been made
anyway,
up.
I'm very happy to report that we've gotten progress with all of them.
Good.
So,
Thank you for your support.
Yes.
It's vitally important that what we do, we find these violations, we send them.
And I wonder, could you guys start giving me like an end of the month report about
on
violations?
how they're doing, what's
and-
going on.
Yeah, and so that way, because I think there's probably been some communications issues in the past between county attorney's office and you guys.
Yeah,
And so if, just like a monthly report to me, and so that way, if it does get to the point where I need to do either an enforcement or a prosecution action, I think, you guys' monthly reporting is gonna hold me accountable and hold you guys
well,
accountable.
and that will help let you know where we're at on them too.
Yes.
So, or as soon as we find out what,
And that's not too much extra
Oh,
work
no,
to just,
no,
end of the
no.
month, just kind of send me a report,
Right.
so that way I know if there's something I need to do to help you guys out.
To the surface of the ground, raw sewage on the surface?
Yes, sir.
yes, it's kind of
It's
right
the
out on.
old style septic system, isn't it?
That's, no, the old style would be actually a hole in the ground and run it in the ground, that's an old cesspool. This one's just going right out on the ground. Yeah, really, technically, we should just cut him off right now, but
My phone's in my car.
it's a, the puppy dog was looking at it, and then he ran in the house and jumped on, so.
Anyway, there was pictures
It was-
I sent.
Yeah, there's,
It's nice,
You guys always have interest in
I know,
background.
but we really appreciate support. I
Your-
mean, it's a dirty job.
Your
and-
support is vital.
Yeah,
What I see,
You got it.
yeah,
um,
yeah, I
my
mean,
biggest concern is I have grandkids. I don't ever want to hear of somebody falling in a hole because we didn't deal with it.
yeah.
That's the end of it.
And those reports, when the groundwater sends them to me, I usually copy them and put them in your packets.
Yeah,
So you should
that's why
have,
we're aware of these.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to give you a little bit of update that so far we're getting cooperation from all of them. And it's always tough to go and hit somebody when, you know, money is a problem. It's hard, and that's why, just like the one where it's going out on the ground right now. It's not difficult, but we're hoping he can get some cost share money, and that money doesn't come in until July 1. So,
where does the sewer system have to be from the
pardon?
How far does the sewer system have to be from a well?
100 feet from the leach field and 50 feet from the tank, and it has to be 25 feet off property lines. And those kind of things can be waivered. We are permitted to waiver those if you have just a tiny lot in some of those little towns. A lot of times you have to have your neighbor, sign a waiver saying you're okay
The
to,
leach field is 100 feet
from a well.
from
what, the well.
From the well, not from the septic tank.
Well, the septic tank is 10 feet.
Okay.
10 feet from the house to the tank, minimum.
Right.
10 feet from the tank to any portion of the start of the leach field.
Okay.
But the well is 50 feet to the tank, and the leach field is 100 feet from the well to the
I'll
leach
measure
field.
mine.
Should be going in the opposite direction.
Well, it's a downslope, and the well's up here on the west side. Sewage is over to the east.
Okay, and
So-
you're probably gonna be okay, because typically your groundwater underneath goes to the southeast.
Yeah.
So it's always better to have the well up here and the sewage down here, but in real life, it just doesn't always work that way. So, but I guess really, I'll give you a copy of some of the things. We started permitting water wells last July. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's your copy you guys can keep. We do have someone over here that is putting systems in illegally, they say. We've had a couple people call us, unwilling to give names at this point, but once we do, I'll send them a letter letting them know what's going on. I'm gonna go visit with one of the guys today and see if he'll give a name, or even if he will do it anonymously somehow, but, you know, it's not fair to the licensed contractors that are putting them in, right? These are fly-by-night people, somebody's putting them in.
And those are the kind we gotta stop.
Right, exactly, because one county, I had to lay $18,000 later, and she still didn't have an system. Wow. Yeah, so they don't know the counties, and they just go out and put them in for somebody for $500 or whatever, so we're trying to track down who might be putting in some illegally, and just get them educated and get them licensed, you know.
Good.
Anyway, any other questions? That's kind of what we're here today, just to update you all. I hope to get out more often.
Okay.
It's been a while. Tim's been on since
Yeah,
December, so.
I've spent quite a bit of time in Cheyenne County since December, but you've had the need, and so I'm around pretty frequently.
So, if you ever have any questions, feel free to call us, yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being
Yes,
willing
thank
to work with me. I appreciate
No,
it.
you're
Oh,
welcome.
yeah, I
Thank you for
appreciate
your
your guys',
support.
sometimes it's not always easy. No, that's your guys' copy, you guys. Yeah, yeah, and sometimes we don't,
Did I consider?
always have that kind of support. And it gets it's touchy, if you have a friend and you have to go make them put in it's tough, but I always tell them I can't play favorites, so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all the time. Thank you. Thank you. And it's good meeting you, and I hope you guys get your report. Thank you.
Tim?
Let me get around the corner here.
Thank
you.
All right, thank you.
Nice to meet you, Tim.
One that gets my.
Yeah. Pass it along.
I think we're done, are we, other than I want to,
No, we've taken
I
care
want
of
to
that.
do, I want to do a 5-minute, before we leave, I'd like to do a 5-minute executive session on non-elected personnel.
Okay.
So, can I hear a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. All those in favor,
Executive session for non-elected personnel.
all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.